In the UK, nature conservation has traditionally followed a model of nature reserves which are privately owned by nature conservation organisations or by private individuals. But at Norfolk Wildlife Trust, in partnership with Aviva and with the community of Norwich and of Norfolk, we're experimenting with a new model of nature reserve which has the community right at its heart, here in the centre of Norwich. In 2020, Sweetbriar Marshes came up for sale. This is a site of 90 acres between Sweetbriar Industrial Estate and the Dereham Road in the city of Norwich. It's of crucial importance for wildlife, both because of the species and habitats found here, and because it sits along the River Wensum, Norfolk's longest and most connected biological corridor. Crucially, it's also a green space for the people of Norwich who have long had a relationship with this wonderful site. So at Norfolk Wildlife Trust, we became interested in purchasing the site, but simultaneously, local community groups have long been campaigning for it to be protected as a nature reserve. Lucy Galvin and Liam Calvert, local community leaders, pick up the story. How long have you had a relationship with Sweetbriar Marshes?
About 20 years, I think, or more even, since we first moved to Norwich. It was one of the places we discovered.
So when it first came up for sale, it was a mixture of concern and a realisation that it was an opportunity, wasn't it? So it was an opportunity if the right buyer came to purchase it, and it was a concern if the wrong purchaser came along. As it is, it's very nice, but it's not looked after, it doesn't have public access.
We're part of the Marlpit Community Centre and the Wensum Community Centre, and also Friends of Trainwood and Marriott's Way and other local groups. So we went to those groups really and asked them. Pretty soon people just said yes and started to get involved. So that was the really gratifying thing about it, was the response from people early on. We could see there was a real desire from people.
We'd really like to see that it's a thriving reserve with community participation and the right balance of community access. It should be a showcase for the city.
To purchase the site, Norfolk Wildlife Trust launched a public appeal. But we did so in partnership with historic Norwich company Aviva, who agreed to match fund every pound donated up to the value of £300,000. This was crucial in unlocking the generosity of the people of Norwich and Norfolk and further afield. Ben, you're Chief Innovation Officer at Aviva, and Aviva has a long history of generosity and support towards Norfolk Wildlife Trust. Explain some of the context for your recent support of our acquisition.
Absolutely. So we have a long history in the city of Norwich. Aviva's been there for over 220 years, and we're really proud of that history and that heritage, and we want to effect positive change in the communities where we're based, supporting local people, our colleagues, our partners, where they live and work.
And the background for this is Aviva's sustainability ambition and your recent biodiversity policy.
Absolutely, Nick. Our sustainability ambition is all about acting on climate change now and supporting local communities. And what a wonderful space to encourage biodiversity and really put resilience of our communities at the heart of what we're doing.
But really, it's just the beginning of a partnership with community, with Norfolk Wildlife Trust, with the people of Norwich, that will see Aviva further involved in the development of Sweetbriar Marshes.
Absolutely, and we're really excited about that relationship and extending it. We've been partners for over 10 years and thousands of people have come to volunteer, and we'd love to encourage more volunteering in this amazing space.
Well, on behalf of Norfolk Wildlife Trust, on behalf of the biodiversity of this amazing place and the surrounding communities, thank you very much indeed.
Thank you.
Our appeal was a tremendous success, the fastest ever in Norfolk Wildlife Trust history. Sweetbriar Marshes already has enormous importance for wildlife, but it has the potential to be better for wildlife and for local people. Nature Conservation Manager Steve Collin explained to me what happens next.
There's such a variety of habitats. We've got woodland, we've got scrub habitats, we've also got some very dry, acid grasslands that transition into wet grasslands. We're studying the different communities of plants so we know what is where, so therefore we know how to treat it in the future. In the marsh areas we've got southern marsh orchid and early marsh orchid. We've also got up on the dry slopes common spotted orchid. In wet areas, we've got things like water voles. I believe there's otter on the river down there as well.
But Norfolk Wildlife Trust's vision for Sweetbriar Marshes is not just about wildlife, it's also about people, about the local community. And the Chief Executive, Elliot Lyne, told me more. Elliot, I'm hearing robins and I've just heard a green woodpecker and there's common cats here flowering and the dead seed heads of wild carrot, but this is a site that's important for wildlife, but it's not just important for wildlife.
That's right, Nick. It is important for wildlife. That's one of our key missions as an organisation, but it's equally important for the people of Norwich. This is an opportunity for us and for the people of Norwich to work together to create a space together that really allows people to connect with nature in a way maybe they haven't had the opportunity to before.
In terms of engagement, in terms of partnership, what ideas are you throwing around for the delivery of Sweetbriar Marshes?
It's a really interesting question, and I'm tempted not to throw too many ideas around just at this point, because we need to listen to understand the communities that are around us. So we've got to understand their needs, their desires for this space, and really work with that, and then I think layer our ideas on top of that.
So in a sense we're going into a period of listening rather than projecting ideas. And in the context of the history of Norfolk Wildlife Trust and Norfolk Wildlife Trust's future ambition, how does Sweetbriar Marshes fit in?
It fits in absolutely perfectly because it has both elements of what we're thinking about in terms of our new vision and strategy. It has the acquisition of land, which is core to the organisation, always has been, always will be, but also it layers on top of that connection with nature, the importance of getting people connected with nature, perhaps people who we haven't otherwise talked to before, who don't typically come to a nature reserve, and this gives us a perfect opportunity to do that.
So this is an exciting time in the history and the future of Norfolk Wildlife Trust.
I hope so. I hope it's a time we'll reflect back on and think that was the start of something really special.
I think people want to be part of local nature. They want to see what's on their doorstep and actually look after it, and I think that's what the Wildlife Trust can do here. Actually engage people in managing it themselves.
In the past couple of years of momentous global events, we've all become aware of the value of nature in our daily lives. So at Norfolk Wildlife Trust, we are excited to begin the journey of helping Sweetbriar Marshes become a nature reserve for the people of Norwich and of Norfolk. But it's not a journey that we want to take alone. If you would like to support our continued work here, please donate. But if you are a family, a local group, a school who would like to help us shape the future of Sweetbriar Marshes, then please get in touch.